Hello, everybody.
Hi, and welcome to the 5th episode of Unboxing Women, where we explore why women in the business are often called such a bitch. So our aim is to explore how and why, let me just adjust this for a second, how and why women are marginalized in the music industry. And we will also broaden our view to the underlying aspects of modern society in general. So we'll be chatting with our audience, so you, and asking questions every now and again, have a guest come on the show to give us their view on the subject as well, so that's planned for the future. So my name is Maika Rose, and I am an independent artist, singer-songwriter based in Germany, and with me is my friend Dana Rexx, who is also an independent recording artist, singer and songwriter based in Belgium. So this is a live stream on Facebook and Instagram, and in a few days we will also be uploading this as a podcast to YouTube and Twitch.
We're very excited about that.
We're so excited. If you couldn't tell. Yeah. So we've got a little bit of a topic lined up for today.
We have. Yes, we have. I will jump in. Today we will discuss what feminism means to us, to women, to men, what they think it is, what they should think it is, all of that good stuff. It's a bit of a daunting topic, to be honest.
Well, we would wish they think it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. I posted a little meme today on my Instagram, which I thought was super clear in just explaining, like if you would explain to a child what feminism is, and I'll explain it. It depicts a woman with a ball and chain, and she's holding the female symbol, the female symbol, like an axe, and so she's going to cut away the ball and chain, and that's what feminism is. And then what society thinks feminism is the same woman with the female symbol axe, but she's about to chop off a man's head on the block. And that's, I think it's really clear to show feminism is not hate for men. It's free women. It's something, it's two totally different things.
Yeah, it really boils it down to the basics, doesn't it? I love how memes and kind of GIFs and just kind of artwork in general boils down big topics into the very basic meanings behind them, or the basic drivers, because that's really what it is, isn't it? So it's like the drive, what drives feminism is really just cutting off that ball and chain, which is just, it can be so many things. It can be society, it can be gender roles, it can be tradition, it can be religion, it can be anything, and it's just I don't even know what to say. It's just such a huge thing.
Yes, it is. It is a big topic. I mean, I think it's our first really huge one, and we're a bit shaky. We're a bit, do we want to be politically correct? Yes and no. We want to say what we think, but we don't want to offend anybody. Everybody is so so easily offended nowadays, and this is not like a hate program where we bash people. It's a discussion. So actually, I'm going to check if any of our listeners have anything to say on Facebook. That is. Let me just check if I can see that. I don't know if I open that, if I would break anything here on my stream. So I think it's really interesting to see, what you get a lot of when you talk about, when you say I'm a feminist, you get a lot of negativity around that, and people thinking you're an extremist, thinking you're an extremist.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though, isn't it? I mean, I guess there definitely are those type of feminists who go to the extreme. It's kind of similar to saying that again, the saying that some people say like, oh yeah, all lesbians are like butch people and they're super aggressive and they do manly things, and I'm just like, that's really bullshit. And it's just kind of, it doesn't matter what if you're a man or a woman. You just people get boxed into some sort of category, and the same happens with feminism, because there have been certain people who have shown characteristics that have been similar to one another, and they associated it with this term. So you just kind of go like, ooh, I can associate somebody with this term and then say they're this. Oh, I like this, so let me just put them. I don't want to delve deeper into the topic. Yeah, it's very interesting how that happens, but that's a different topic.
No, I know. No, exactly. I'm going to check and see. Okay, a couple of people are watching on Facebook. No comments yet, so we're still good.
Yeah. Well, I've got one hi and one yo. On
yes,
side.
That's good. Hi and yo. All right. Yeah, I was thinking about what I was going to say, and basically what feminism is to me is exactly getting rid of that ball and chain, and just I think Katy Perry said it best. 1 week ago, she posted a thing, because obviously she just released her 5th album, and she had just had a baby. And a lot of people are asking her, are you going to take a hiatus? Are you going to stop working and, take care of that baby? And she's like, no, I feel best when I'm doing what I love. And that's obviously making music. And being with my fans. And that does not mean that I can't be with my daughter or my newborn child and take care of her as well. There's no if or, it's and we can do it all. So why shouldn't we be allowed to? And she used the word archaic, and I think it was really, I'm going to try and quote her here if I remember correctly. It's having to choose between what you love or raising your child is so archaic, she said, because you don't have to choose. You can do both. And that's what feminism is. It's, free the woman. We can do it all.
Yeah. It's very interesting, because I've talked about this topic a couple of times, especially when you're talking about gender roles and like pursuing your job even though you've got children or whatever. And I was talking about this with my family, and it was just very interesting, because for some reason, wait, now I've lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, I'm like fiddling with my microphone because it wasn't good.
No,
okay,
fine.
It's good.
No, I've lost my train of thought, but
Well, you were talking to your family about it.
Yeah.
Well, did they have any reactions? Do they have, what's their take on feminism?
My family is very progressive in that way, which I think is also interesting, that being progressive means that, being for equal rights means you're progressive.
Yeah.
Which in a sense, it joins into the archaic thing, doesn't it?
It does.
But at the same time, my family still follows gender roles in my parents' relationship in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of, it wasn't like my mum was forced to stay at home when she got kids. When she got kids.
When you guys got kids.
Exactly. No, but she did stay at home for a while, and then she started working again later on in her life. But it's just kind of, it's very weird, because I look at that and I'm like, oh, I know I don't want that. I would not put up with like, if we're talking like partners specifically, I wouldn't put up with someone who would expect me to do things. I don't mind doing things that are like of a specific gender role, but I don't like being expected to do those things. That's the difference for me.
That's it. I think you hit the nail on the head there when you say, if she chose to stay at home for her kids, that's fine. It's, she has that choice. And that's the thing. You have the choice. If you don't want to do that, then you don't have to do that. And, that doesn't make her like a non-feminist or somebody who's, fine with the patriarchy. Not at all. She just had that choice. And at that moment, she said, yes, we can do it. And so I want to stay at home with my kids. My mom was the same. She stayed at home with me as well. And she didn't have to. So she chose to be with me. Thanks, Mom. So I think it's just having the choice is that the choice is there. That's the thing. That's what we should have. I'm not for a world where every woman has to, be a career woman.
Really the choice that is what is what essentially the ball and chain smashing thing is, because without having the choice, you obviously feel chained because you can't do anything else. But the only thing for me, the really essential thing about feminism is to not be expected to do a certain thing just based on gender. It goes both ways. It's also to be equal, and also just to have the freedom to do whatever you want and not be judged for it.
Yes.
In a way.
Not be judged. That's another good one. Maika, you're on a roll.
Oh, thank you.
No, this is absolutely.
So you had looked up a couple of things pertaining to the music industry, because we were talking about this the other week, and we were saying, because I've from companies that I've heard of, not in the music industry, I've always heard that the CEO thing, that it's kind of like a self-sustaining system.
Yes.
So there's like old white guys in charge who are
it's a club.
It's kind of a club of old white guys, and I'm sure some of them are very nice people. But anyway, so they they're maybe a bit more conservative, and then they will choose their successor based on who they like and who they kind of deal with. I'm not really tempted to say that's necessarily a I don't know. It's kind of weird, because I would do the same thing. I would choose someone who is similar to me because I understand that person. So it's kind of it makes it very hard for me to criticize, even though I don't think it's right in that particular instance. But then that kind of makes me a bit what do you call it? Hypocritical.
No, I see what you mean. I mean, if I were in charge and I had to leave my company to somebody and there was a great woman there, I would choose the woman. So is it, it's true. It's a fine line. And it's, good that you pointed that out. I don't know, I just think if you fit the job description and if you're qualified to do it, then you should get the job. If you're black or white, or if you're female or male or something in between, it doesn't matter. If you're going to do the job, if you're going to do a great job, then you should get it. That, know, so, and if that is not, if at that moment, you're a white male and you're going to do a great job, then he gets the job, It's just that if the white male is like 80% there and you have a black lady who's 100% there, and then give it to the white male, no, because that's not okay for that job.
Yeah, you'd want the best for your company, though, wouldn't you? And that's what always astounds me, is that, like, instead of doing the best for the company, it's more about interhuman relations, which in the end makes sense, because I mean, we're humans and we work on relationships and society. That's how we kind of evolved. But at the same time, if you're really a business person, then you would choose what's best for your business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always what kind of trips me up with those kind of decisions. And I think you posted, I think you shared something from an Instagram account we both follow, where it was like men apply for jobs when they have like 60% of the needs, or specifications, or whatever the word is. and women wait until they meet 100% of the specifications a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was very interesting because, I mean, I've been taught by my parents to always say I can do something. And
even when you can't?
even when I can't.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Always say I can do something because you can learn it on the job.
Yes,
So
obviously.
that's what I've been taught. And most often that is actually true. But I still, when I go in for things, I still feel insecure. I still, I don't know if that's something that is feminine or if that is something that is normal. Because, I mean, I think I just feel a lot of the time, a lot of my male friends just go into job interviews, especially, and they're just like, "Well, of course I can learn that, no problem. I don't, just,
Well, that all we said it before. It boils down to upbringing and the difference in upbringing between male and female, and that they really push boys to be bolder and take more chances and just be more. And women are they're softer and we're not supposed to be so outgoing and she has opinions and and we're not we're not taught that. So like you're saying, it's if your family is progressive, which is it's a conundrum because shouldn't we all be modern and progressive by now? It's 2020. So the fact that word still exists and that we still feel the need to use it in a modern family where people try to give their daughters all the chances that their sons would have, So anyway, yes, I mean, I can go on a little rant. I would like to go on a little rant, actually, if you don't mind. I think...
I mean, I don't mind, but just to bring it back to the thingy with the CEOs, you were saying like that you see more female CEOs in the music industry now.
Yes, and I'm going to map that actually, and I will come back with a couple of facts in one of the next episodes, because I follow a couple of industry newsletters, and I have seen in the last couple of months / a year or a year and a half that there are a lot more women being put in higher positions, which is great. And why is this all of a sudden? Why does it just felt like before it wasn't like that, and now I start to notice that, there's a woman again, another woman, this is great. And I'm gonna map that and see if we can do something around that.
That'd be really interesting.
But yeah, it all depends on culture as well. And I think it's an unconscious thing. I don't think men are actively thinking about this. I mean, not most of them, but it's more like a primordial realization that if we're coming to do what they do and be equal and do their jobs, then how can they prove themselves? How does he impress his mate after that? The problem is that the roles can't be switched up. So we can do what men do, but men can't do what women do. I mean, bear children. So we're effectively driving men into a corner, and instinctively they react, which, I mean, to be honest, is totally normal. Maybe not in this modern society, but, we're still human and we still have our base instincts that now have to be applied to a very intricate and emotionally complicated...
It's kind of like anytime somebody says, you can't do that, I would still go like, are you sure?
Exactly.
So it's the same the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, some men give into these instincts more than others, and it takes a real man to step away from this and think rationally about it for this day and age, I think. And of course, they know our brains are the same as theirs and that we are fully capable. It's just the question of which men feel threatened by it. And those are the ones that will call you a bitch and actively shun you. And I mean, I could go even further and say that this kind of behavior, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it might actually be a compliment, because the guy is acting this way because he realizes your potential and he's scared. So it also means he has no spine and isn't man enough to face his fears. But it's
yeah. I mean, I think with some people it might be that. I think with a lot of guys, it's just it comes back to culture a lot of times, and society and upbringing, just kind of intrinsic things that have been passed down from generation to generation that we don't actually realize. And so a lot of times when I do something that people are or men are surprised at, because mostly women are like, oh, that's really cool, I wish I could do that, or oh yeah, I did that yesterday, or whatever, but men would look at me and be like, oh, this girl can really do it all. I mean, I can't, but but it's just it's so interesting, because it's just, it still always comes as a shock for obviously, well, I don't know if
for
it's a
some
lot, if
people
it's a
it does.
majority or a minority of men. I think people in my friendship circle, nothing's a shock. They're very progressive and open, and I have a very good friendship circle in that sense. But whenever I meet new people and talk a little bit about myself, or just kind of am myself, I get very, very mixed reactions. And I think it's always interesting to see those reactions. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a very weird topic, because I was thinking earlier, like, what does feminism actually mean to me? And it's, well, we've
It's
talked
hard.
about it. We said, it's about not being expected to do things, to be free to do whatever you want, not being judged.
Yeah.
And I think that is essentially what it is, for me. But it's also, I don't think, I used to never think about this that much until I started realizing what was actually, when I came into the world as an adult, and I started realizing what people assumed of me before knowing me, or what people expected of me. And I would just be there, and I'd just be like,
Why?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the same
So,
for me.
yeah, so I'd never really thought about it that much. But then I think about when we were talking about how in specific societies you can't put a woman in charge because the culture wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
I think that's just a whole different spectrum, a whole nother level that we don't think
of
about as
awfulness.
Europeans.
Yeah.
Well, as Europeans, we don't think, we're not confronted with that from day to day. We're not
No.
confronted with that. So in a way, we're very liberal and free to do whatever we want. It's just our problems with feminism are more less obvious and a little bit more deep set, because we've gotten rid of the obvious ones,
Yeah.
but we haven't gotten rid of the deep set ones yet.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think that's it is very interesting in other cultures to see, reactions, and it's also very interesting. And I told you this the other day that I've been in such a culture, and all of a sudden you realize that you're so far from home, and that not like your home, but your cultural home, and that it's totally different in this country where you are, and you really, as much as you're stomping on the table and you're with your fists and like, hey, I'm here and I'm a woman, they just it doesn't work that way there. So there's still a lot of work in the rest of the world, but yeah, I'll tell you about that in another episode. For the entertainment industry, actually, feminism, I mean, feminism, we're talking about being equal and everything, but there's also this whole awareness and sexual harassment thing that has been going on for the past couple of years. But I think, we should put that under the same title, because it's it's one thing
related.
yeah, it's related, and I think it's this whole the whole movements of Me Too and Time's Up and everything. It has to do with feminism because it's the moment where women realized that we shouldn't not talk about it anymore. We should talk about it, and we should let it let it be public. And that's also something that has to do with choices, a choice to express yourself and to talk about what happened to you and stuff like that. I mean, the past couple of years, the entertainment industry has been a big catalyst, I feel, of awareness for sexual harassment in the workplace. And I'm proud that the people who are the most in the public eye, like celebrities and artists, use their reach to expose this kind of behavior. I mean, what else do you have a global voice for, basically?
Yeah.
And I mean, I could be wrong, but you don't see this kind of thing going on in other industries. Like, you don't see the medical industry going, yeah, we need more female surgeons now, or an article about how many nurses are harassed by male doctors or something like that, So I think as an industry in the public eye, we're giving the right example, as we should be.
Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting, because that brings up the question whether it has to do with us being in the entertainment industry. So we're bound to a lot of things like newspapers and social media, and that is a platform. Those are platforms for us that are very important and have become so important in the last 10 years, which weren't necessarily there before. So I wonder if it's connected to it's another form of entertainment because it's newsworthy. That's actually very
definitely
interesting. Yeah.
It's definitely all entertainment, but that's all we do. We entertain with our problems, with our music, with our... No, but seriously, no, it is because, like Reeperbahn, they had... So this is a conference in Hamburg every year, a music conference. So they have this whole key change thing going on, which is, to change the balance of females in positions, in certain positions and in certain jobs in the music industry. So they actively want to change
festivals and stuff.
Yeah. So lineups of festivals or whatever, like have it 50-50 or something like that. But you don't really see like I said, like a medical congress and all the doctors going, doing the same, like, oh, we need a key change here as well. Because, or even in IT. In IT, it's, notoriously, there are not a lot of ladies going into IT. And, why not? Why wouldn't a woman be a great IT girl? Like IT guy, Yeah. So it's kind of, it brought a lot to life. I mean, I don't know. I looked up about the Me Too and the Time's Up movement just to be sure of what I was saying. And Me Too was actually started by a person called Tarana Burke back in 2006 on MySpace. She's an activist. Okay. So it was only when a model, let me just check my files. Ambra Gutierrez, when she exposed Weinstein, who was the boss of Miramax at the time, that the ball started rolling and it really got on everyone's radar. And then a couple of years after that, Alyssa Milano, who's an actress, reacted to the whole thing as well on social media. This was in 2017. So, I mean, Tirana probably did a great job. She had some following and etc. But it didn't really go global until people in the entertainment or music industry started fiddling with it, And then following all of that, the Time's Up movement. I'm sorry, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just wanted to let you speak. No, it's interesting because Harvey Weinstein, that thing was a huge deal. Huge deal.
It is a big deal. It is.
I mean, it is a big deal in general. It just wasn't just a big deal for nothing. But it was this huge thing the thing that shocked me most about the whole Me Too movement is that nobody sat there and said, "Oh, this is completely new to me."
Yeah.
Everybody sat there and was like, "Well, of course, we know this happens."
Yeah, that's horrible, right?
And you're like, well, why haven't you done anything about it before now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why wait for a scandal? It's just, yeah.
That's always a question. I mean, it starts when, you know, everybody, it starts the ball rolling when one person who is in the public eye, I think, says something, and then everybody starts going, literally, me too. And that's what you need, that spark and that one ballsy person that stands up for this thing. And I mean, even after that, so Tarana Burke was actually invited by an actress. Was it an actress? Yes, to the Golden Globes in 2018 to make a statement. And a lot of women actually had as their plus one an activist of some kind in, you know, in the, like, the feminist or in the sexual harassment space, and to make a statement. So after all of that, it just started growing and growing and growing, and then you had all those speeches that we've all seen. I mean, I don't know if it's the difference between being a freelancer, like an artist or an actor, and basically working for somebody else with every project, or being an employee of a company. I think if you're an employee of a company and you've been harassed, you don't want to lose your job, you know, harassed by your boss, for example. It's very hard to come out with that story and not lose your job or leave that company. Some people, you know, most people don't want to lose their jobs, so they stay quiet. I think you can compare it with, in the music industry, with being with a label. You know, most times the person who was harassed only comes out with it after the end of the contract with the label, which is kind of the equivalent of not wanting to lose your job, because they have a lot to lose when they're still with the label. And then you have a lot of people reacting, oh, but this happened 3 years ago. Why did you wait until now to say something? But it's a big step to come out with something like this and say you've been sexually harassed and that you've been a victim, basically. It's admitting. It's not an easy thing to confess, and afterwards, you know, you've got like a sign on your forehead of being weak or stupid or getting yourself into this situation in the first place, and what were you wearing, and did you deserve it, or did you ask for it? So no, women don't, I think, admit to something like that just for fun or for getting back at somebody or for going to court and, you know, hoping to win a lot of money with that. It's
you know what I think is the most distressing thing that happens when you say, oh, you know, I was sexually harassed. I think the most distressing thing is being being labeled as the person who complains.
Yeah, true.
Right? So because often one of women's gender stereotypes is that we're whiny. We complain a lot. We can't deal with things.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that is one of the things, that's one of the first things people say, or I have heard said when, you know, it's Me Too. It's like, oh, they're complaining, you know, why? And then it kind of goes into the thing, why are they complaining now? You know, it's like, why complain?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the why are you complaining now kind of hides the why are you complaining aspect of the whole question.
Yeah.
You know, adding the now takes away the kind of why. But that's essentially what that question means to me.
Yeah. I don't think women admit to these things unless they actually, you know, unless it has actually happened, because the stakes are just too high. The backlash is too much for it to be like a manipulation or to get back at somebody. I don't believe in that. I think if somebody says this, unless obviously they've lied about other things or whatever, you know, as a woman,
there's always the odd one out, but as a rule, you don't put yourself through that.
No.
You don't put yourself through the potential humiliation or the backlash, or the people who will tell you, oh, this never happened anyway. The people trying to trying to make you feel bad and trying to make you feel small. You don't put yourself through that unless you actually have had that experience.
Yeah.
And you want justice. And you don't. The thing is, most women go through and speak up so that no other woman has to go through that.
Yeah.
That is the consensus. And that is something that I find women do right a lot of the time, is that oftentimes, obviously not always, but oftentimes with things like these, we are speaking out so that we can save others from the same fate. It's not for our benefit, it's not like
exactly.
We don't want the money, like we don't want the
attention
infamy
around it. The attention around it.
We just want other women to be able to feel safe in their workspace. So yeah.
Oh, wow. I think that's all for today. You guys.
It was a long one.
It's a heavy subject, and I think it's a bit more clear in my head now, I think. Yeah.
I feel good too.
I loved our conversation. Thank you so much. So, yes, thank you for tuning in to Unboxing Women, and be sure to connect with us on our socials, which you can find in the show notes. Send us a DM or let us know your personal experience with the hashtag such a bitch. I have a banner for that. Here we go. Ta-da! And so, yes, join the movement and let's make some changes around here, not only for women, but also for men. Good changes. I'm not talking about negative changes. My name is Dana Rexx, and I've been chatting with Maika Rose, and this is a bi-weekly show. Our next episode will be in 2 weeks' time, same place. So thanks again for listening, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.